All right, welcome back to the channel. Floyd Mayweather Jr. goes in on the WBC, and the WBC is dumb enough to respond and say something that we all knew the whole time, but their admission opens up whole new vistas of responsibilities, tactics, and plans that we need to execute in order to make boxing a better place. And I got a couple hashtags for you in this video that should catch on and will solve the problem. Let's go through that in this video. All right, welcome back to the chat. So, if there's one thing that everybody in boxing agrees on, and that is that the WBC is terrible. In fact, it's literally everybody in boxing that says it. If you are a Lomachenko fan and I am a Gervonta Davis fan, you don't like me, I don't like you, but we both don't like the WBC. Teddy Atlas, I don't like Teddy Atlas. I don't agree with a lot of stuff that he says, right? If he knew who I was, which I don't know, I'm quite sure there's a bunch of things he would say about me where he would say, hey, Fanon doesn't know what he's talking about. However, we both can't stand the WBC. Floyd Mayweather Jr. is just one of the crowd that knows what's up with the WBC and the WBA and the WBO, and to a lesser extent, the IBF. And that is that they're conning us and taking our money. So Mauricio Suleiman responds and says, no, we're not. You're just delusional. There will never be one champion because we have to make money. I don't know if Mauricio Suleiman was just frustrated and he didn't think about what he was saying, but that admission was literally everything that people have been saying about the corrupt sanctioning bodies for years, but no one until Mauricio Suleiman was so bold as to admit it. But let's go. And then there's something we can do about this, though, because now that Mauricio Suleiman has said that and we know what the circumstance is, then there's something we need to do. At least my path going forth is very clear. And thank you, Mauricio Suleiman, for letting me see that. So let's go through those few things. One, what did Floyd say about the belts and the championship belts and all that stuff? Is it legitimate? What was Mauricio Suleiman's response? Was it legitimate? And now that we know this information, what can we do about it? Right? So I'm going to lay out those three things. Stick with me through the video and then let me know what you think. First things first. Floyd said three things that are just dead honest truth. And he was asking for the problem to be solved, right? He wasn't chastising people. He was, but he's like, we've got to clean this up. We got to clean the sport up because he says he loves the sport. And for a guy that dedicated his entire life to the sport, who am I to say that Floyd Mayweather Jr. doesn't love the sport of boxing and care about the sport of boxing? It literally has paid for his entire life. His fathers, his uncles, his kids, everybody. He has vested interest in the success of boxing. He's already rich, but he has vested interest in the continued success of boxing. And he says, look, dude, one of the big problems that we don't know, there ain't no champion, right? And then the next thing he talks about, he's like, look, man, the WBC is just pumping us for sanctioning fees. The more belts there are, the more fees that they make, right? That's what he said. So when Mauricio Suleiman, and then he said, of course, we got to get rid of the belts. Now, I would also get rid of a lot of belts and have one champion per division. Now, that is just sports. That's sports. That is not a radical idea. That is literally sports. The U.S. Open in golf has only one champion. They don't have two champions, three champions, four champions. Or I guess they have an amateur champion, U.S. amateur champion, but that's literally a separate tournament. But whoever wins the U.S. Open, dude, that's the U.S. Open champion for the year, and there's no doubt. Tiger Woods won championships. Nobody's ever claimed that he wasn't a champion. Serena Williams did his job. Did her job. Every time she won, we knew that they were champions. But the WBC, the WBA, the IBF, and the WBO want to take away our ability to even have a champion, but yet charge us money consistently, right? So we're saying, look, the belt's got to go because it's adding too much confusion to fans, and that's the truth. So what does the WBC do in response? Okay, they admit that what he's saying is true. They say, you are delusional if you think you will ever get one champion per division again because we have to make money. Now, let me tell you, if you were at a meal, right, and you say you order some food off the menu, and it says glazed salmon with side of spinach, and macaroni and cheese on the side. And in the macaroni and cheese, you're going to have green onions, right? In your macaroni and cheese. I don't know if people put green onions in their mac and cheese or not, but stick with me for the story. Now, what if you paid $25 for that meal and you get it and there's a piece of chicken, some green beans, and some Kraft macaroni and cheese on there? You're like, dude, I ordered, what is this? This said salmon. We didn't mean salmon. Sorry, you ain't getting salmon. We got to make money. No, get out of here. And I'm keeping your money. You're crazy if you think that I'm going to say that I'm going to sell you salmon and you expect salmon? What's wrong with you? That's what Mauricio Sulaiman's doing. Hey, if I sell you a championship fight, how can you ever want a champion, right? There is no such thing. You're never going to get one champion. So I thought to myself, there's got to be a con job going on here, right? There's got to be. Because Mauricio Sulaiman's a rational person, I think. So why would he say that there will never be one champion? My thought was that you can only have one champion, right? Like it's impossible for you to have more than one champion. In the NBA, it's impossible for you to have one more champion because the champion is the guy that wins the finals, right? Same thing for football, the same thing I said there, right? Wrong, Fanon. That's what I thought this morning. I was like, you're wrong, Fanon. Mauricio Sulaiman is right. There can be more than one champion. It just depends on your definition of the word champion. So I went to the dictionary and I looked up the definition of champion. Because I tell you all the time, when you're having conversations with people, you have to know that you might be using the same word, but be talking about two completely different things. And I am convinced now that Mauricio Sulaiman and Floyd Mayweather Jr. or Mauricio Sulaiman and the rest of the world are using different definitions for the word champion. And there are 3 definitions for the word champion. And let me read them to you. The first one is what you and I most likely mean when we say champion. And that is one that wins first place or first prize in a competition. Got it? One that wins first place or first prize in a competition. That's what we think. If there's a competition called the WBC rankings, whoever wins the championship become the champion, and he's the champion. That's what you and I think. But that is not what Mauricio Sulaiman thinks. Obviously, his definition, the use of his definition fits this: an ardent defender or supporter of a cause or another person. That's the champion that he's talking about. When the WBC says they have a champion, they do not mean champion in that one person wins first place and in a competition. What they mean is the third definition: the ardent defender or supporter of a cause or another person. So what is the cause? Getting Mauricio Sulaiman paid. See, he's not lying. He's not underhanded. He's just tricky. He's just using it. When they define the word champion, they mean definition 3. We used to think it was definition 1, but now it's definition 3. And that's how you can have multiple champions in the same weight division. It's the only logical explanation if you think these people are rational. Because clearly, if they're using the definition champion to mean one that wins first place or first prize in a competition, then you, by definition of champion, have to have one. You can only have one. When the NBA says champion, that's what they mean. Their competition is their season. The whole season, everybody plays 82 games. Then you get into a playoff. And then if you get through the playoff and you win, you become the champion. You are the one that wins first place or first prize in a competition. But with the WBC champion, the WBC silver champion, the WBA gold champion, the WBC, whatever, all these belts, they are just ardent defenders or supporters, really supporters of a cause. And what's the cause? Mauricio Sulaiman told you what the cause was. The cause is getting him paid. The cause is keeping the WBA going. They are the WBC champion. They are a ardent supporter or defender of the WBC. And how do they support? By paying sanctioning fees. They are an ardent fee payer, sanctioning fee payer to the WBC. That's the definition that they're using. Ask them. Ask them. Excuse me, Mr. Sulaiman, what is the definition of champion? When you are saying that there will never be more than one champion, what are you talking about? Do you mean one who wins first prize, or do you mean that they're championing your cause or they're championing your pocketbook? Mauricio Sulaiman admitted it. They are champions of his pocketbook. They are champions of the bottom line for the WBC. They are champions of their profit and loss. They are champions of Mauricio Sulaiman's kids' cars. And they are championing his cause to keep him paid. That's what it is. They are not boxing champions. They are WBC champions. See how we're messing up? See why Mauricio Sulaiman is right? And it's all in the definition of the word. And as long as we keep letting confusion going on and we think he means definition 1 when he means definition 2, we're always going to be confused. We're always going to be messed up. But we have to define that. We have to let him know, dude, we don't mean that type of champion. We don't mean somebody that's going to support you and pay you. We mean somebody that's going to win a contest. And we want to see the contest. And the contest should be the sport of boxing, not your return on investment. Okay? I'm not a champion of your ROI. But we want champions in the boxing ring, not of your bank account. You get it? But that's the double talk coming out of Mauricio Sulaiman, and that's the only logical explanation. Now, what do you do about it? I got 2 hashtags for you. Hashtag stream it. Hashtag stream it and hashtag hate on it. Like, if they putting something out, stream it. Because I'm not paying money unless it's the particular fighter. Errol Spence is fighting for a WBC belt. I don't care about WBC. I care about my champion. I care about him being the best. I don't care about him paying that sanctioning fee. Right? So I'll pay him, but I ain't caring about it. If he's got to pay the WBC, that's on him. I'm not paying for it. And the other thing is hate on it because they don't like when people talk about their fighters and what they're doing. And they have to respond. And that's clear because we're in the internet age. So number one, stream it. Number 2, hate on it. That's how you don't keep him. That's how you keep Mauricio from championing your pocketbook. And with that, I'm out. Peace.